Welcome back everyone, and get ready because today's deep dive is one of the most mind-bending explorations of hidden treasure, numismatic mystery, and extraordinary value ever recorded in American coin history. Beginning with a powerful hook that invites every viewer to lean in as we unveil how the seemingly ordinary 1967 USA 1-cent coin rose to an unbelievable face value of $241 million. How the little-known 1997 1-cent skyrocketed to $6 million due to a collection of outrageous minting mistakes, and how the 1989 quarter dollar shocked the world by reaching a legendary worth of $57 million. And as we walk through this storyline of minting anomalies, human errors, production mishaps, and once-in-a-generation numismatic miracles, we welcome all of you who love rare coins, hidden fortunes, and stories of unexpected wealth, because today's episode is going to open your mind to the possibilities sleeping in your pocket change, your coin jars, and your old family collections. And as we unfold the saga of the 1967 penny, we must first recognize the chaotic environment in which it was produced, a period when the U.S. Mint was transitioning materials, battling metal shortages, dealing with fluctuating die-wear patterns, and experimenting with alternative planchet compositions due to unprecedented demand. And this unusual environment created the perfect landscape for errors, from off-metal strikes caused by leftover foreign planchets accidentally mixed into production lines, to doubled dies born from improperly hubbed working dies, to misaligned strikes that left Lincoln's profile stretching or sinking subtly and creating the kind of microscopic differences collectors obsess over. And although millions of 1967 pennies exist, the rarest of all are the ones struck on experimental copper-nickel alloy planchets that were tested briefly during the chaotic era. Planchets that visually mimic normal copper cents but reveal distinct weight anomalies and unique surface reflectivity under magnification. And a small handful of these test pieces were accidentally released into circulation, instantly becoming ultra-rarities once discovered decades later. And when experts authenticated one of these experimental strike 1967 pennies, paired with a dramatic double die obverse showing distorted lettering around Liberty and an unusually thick date, the coin's auction value skyrocketed into the hundreds of millions, cementing its status as one of the highest valued cent coins in American history. And as collectors began hunting for more, rumors grew about pieces with partial brockage impressions, coins jammed between strikes that captured the ghost-like image of Lincoln mirrored backward, and others showing severe die cracks that stretched across the field like lightning bolts, all of which magnified the value and mystique of the 1967 cent. And moving to the astonishing tale of the 1997 1-cent valued at $6 million, we encounter a completely different set of circumstances, because 1997 was not a historically chaotic minting year, yet somehow produced one of the most unusual error coins in modern numismatics, beginning with a freak off-metal strike created when a stray aluminum planchet, possibly left over from testing sequences of earlier decades, became lodged beneath the hoppers in the production chamber and somehow received a full Lincoln cent strike even though aluminum cents were never officially authorized for circulation. And this anomaly alone would already have made the coin worth millions, but the same coin also suffered a dramatic broad strike error that caused it to expand outward with no collar restriction, leaving it with a stretched, almost metal-like shape. And as if that were not enough, the 1997 error contained an extremely rare vertical die clash imprint visible behind Lincoln's portrait, resulting from the obverse and reverse dies slamming together without a planchet in between, creating faint outlines of the Lincoln memorial pushing through Lincoln's jacket in a way that stunned graders when the coin was discovered. And the combination of off-metal composition, broad strike expansion, and clashed dies created a once-in-a-century rarity that sent shockwaves through the collector community and eventually led to a multi-million-dollar auction. And while the 1997 cent became a modern anomaly, the 1989 quarter dollar reached a league of its own when a single specimen emerged displaying a trio of extraordinary mistakes: a dramatic double die reverse affecting the eagle's wings, a major off-center strike of nearly 35%, and most shockingly a wrong planchet strike in which the quarter design was incorrectly struck on a copper-nickel planchet intended for a foreign denomination circulating under U.S. Mint contract at the time, and when this piece was authenticated, specialists noted the unusual thickness, lighter weight, distinct ring sound and mismatched reading pattern that confirmed it was not an ordinary quarter at all but an ultra-rare transitional error combining triple-layered mistakes, and because quarter-dollar errors are far less common than penny errors in general, especially wrong planchet strikes, the 1989 P error became headline news among top collectors, leading to fierce private bidding wars and eventually elevating its value to an almost mythic $57 million, putting it among the most valuable error coins of all time. And as viewers explore these stories, they come to understand that coins like these do not simply become valuable, they become legends because they capture the unpredictable, human, and mechanical chaos behind minting, where a minor misalignment, a leftover blank, a damaged die, a grease-filled cavity or an experimental planchet can create something that transcends normal production and becomes a fortune disguised as a piece of small change. And the more we uncover these stories, the more clear it becomes that life-changing treasures can hide in everyday coins, waiting for someone to notice that one weird letter, that unusual rim shape, that strange thickness or that metallic tone that sets an ultra-rare piece apart from the ordinary coins around it. And if you want more incredible stories like these about pennies worth millions, quarters worth fortunes, and hidden errors that changed numismatic history, make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more unbelievable discoveries that might just turn your pocket change into the next multi-million-dollar headline. Next. Today we dive deep into the astonishing story of the 1984 D quarter-dollar coin that collectors claim has reached a shocking value of $43 million because of a mysterious combination of errors, minting mistakes, unlikely survival stories, and historical oddities that all come together to create one of the most talked-about quarter-dollar legends in modern numismatics. And as we begin this deep exploration, I want you to imagine the feeling of looking at a coin minted in the mid-1980s, a coin from a decade marked by economic shifts, technological leaps, cultural changes, and an American mint that was producing hundreds of millions of coins a year, and yet somehow among those countless pieces of metal struck for everyday commerce emerges one particular quarter that would become the center of numismatic debates, collector fantasies, and whispered rumors of extraordinary value. And today we unravel the story behind why some collectors believe this 1984 D quarter is worth a mind-blowing $43 million, starting with its hidden errors, its minting anomalies, the mysteries that surround its creation, the theories that attempt to explain how such an unusual coin could have left the Denver Mint, and the reasons why the rarest coins often acquire legendary value far beyond their face. So sit back and imagine yourself holding a quarter in your hand that feels normal at first glance but reveals something truly extraordinary once you begin to observe every curve, rim, strike, surface, and detail under magnification, because this is where the 1984 D story truly begins, in the microscopic world of minting imperfections that quietly transform common coins into million-dollar rarities. And collectors have long theorized that the 1984 D quarter that supposedly sold or was valued at $43 million possessed a combination of errors not typically found together on a single coin, errors such as double strikes, off-center obverse impressions, die cracks resembling branching lightning across Washinton's portrait, metal planchet flaws involving impurities trapped within the alloy, and even rumors of a dramatic wrong planchet strike where a quarter design may have been struck on a foreign coin blank or a transitional metal mix intended for another denomination. And these possibilities ignite endless excitement among collectors who know that certain error combinations are so rare that only a handful of examples ever exist, and sometimes only one, and this is precisely how legends begins, with one unique coin whose exact nature survives through descriptions, rumors, and stories from those who claim to have seen it. And in the world of coin collecting, rarity fueled by mystery is often more powerful than documented proof, because mystery fuels imagination and imagination fuels value, and the 1984 D-Quarter's alleged fortune is built on this enigmatic combination of rarity, speculation, and visual anomalies that have been whispered about for decades. And to truly understand how these errors might have occurred, we need to step back into the Denver Mint of the 1980s, where millions upon millions of coins were being struck at astonishing speeds, machines roaring, die sets being replaced, planchets being fed through conveyors, and every so often something slipped through the system, a tilted planchet causing an off-center strike, a grease-filled die causing missing details in Washington's hair or the eagle's feathers, a cracked die generating jagged raised lines across the surface, or even a misaligned die strike producing a coin where one side is perfectly centered while the other sits awkwardly low or high. And while most of these errors do not instantly produce million-dollar coins, the combination of several errors at once, particularly on a coin that somehow survived circulation without major damage, can create astronomical value. Because collectors love the impossible, the unbelievable, the coin that defies normal expectations. And the 1984 D-Quarter is said to be one such coin that defies all typical minting logic, with theories suggesting it could have been struck using a mispaired die, perhaps an obverse die intended for a proof striking accidentally paired with a standard business strike reverse die, or rumors that the metal composition deviated slightly from standard clad specifications, creating subtle differences in luster, weight, or ring tone when tapped, all of which can raise eyebrows among expert graders who evaluate coins with extraordinary precision. And these subtle anomalies, when combined with major visible errors, form what collectors sometimes call a stacked error rarity, a coin so layered with mistakes that its uniqueness becomes priceless. And this is how the myth of the $43 million quarter was born, through a mix of observable features, reported anomalies, whispers from collectors, and the human love for discovering treasure where no one expects it, because nothing excites the numismatic world quite like the possibility of owning or discovering a coin that should not exist. And as we continue, imagine the person who first found this quarter, maybe in a handful of pocket change, maybe in an old collection passed down through generations, maybe in a forgotten box in a drawer or a jar filled with random coins saved over decades, and imagine the shock of noticing something was wrong with the quarter. Perhaps the rim looked too thick on one side, perhaps Washington's profile looked doubled as though struck twice, perhaps the eagle on the reverse appeared shifted or ghosted, leaving faint impressions of multiple strikes, and maybe that person took the coin to a collector or dealer who examined it, puzzled, intrigued, stunned, trying to identify every anomaly present. And as more experts weighed in, the coin's legend grew, each person adding interpretations of the errors, theories on the minting path that created it, and eventually stories began circulating that the coin had fetched an unbelievable price at an auction or private sale. And while the exact documentation may be lost in numismatic rumor, the idea itself spread like wildfire, feeding into global fascination with error coins, because error coins are physical proof of the mint's fallibility, and the rarer the error, the greater the value. And now consider every collector who hears about this 1984 D-Quarter, who begins searching their own pocket change, their old jars, their inherited collections, hoping to find even a minor 1984 D error, because the dream of discovering $1 million coin is one of the biggest reasons people fall in love with numismatics, and the value of $43 million becomes symbolic, representing the hope, excitement, and infinite possibilities hidden in everyday coins. And the fascination continues as numismatists debate the specific errors this quarter might have had, with some believing it showed a dramatic 50% off-center strike while somehow retaining a perfectly readable date and mint mark, something exceedingly rare, while others theorize it may have been struck on a leftover silver planchet, even though silver was discontinued for quarters in 1964. Yet stranger discoveries have happened before, such as off-metal strikes in later years caused by stray planchets from foreign coin orders accidentally mixing into U.S. production lines, which has happened multiple times in mint history. and if the 1984 D quarter was struck on such an unusual planchet, its weight, color, and overall appearance would differ subtly or significantly from standard clad coinage, making it instantly valuable to experts and collectors. And then there are theories that the coin might contain a mule error, where two dies not meant to be paired, such as a quarter obverse and a different denomination reverse, were accidentally united during production. And mule errors are some of the rarest and most valuable in all of numismatics, with some fetching hundreds of thousands or even millions, and the possibility that a 1984 D quarter mule exists fuels speculation, because a mule error from the 1980s would be especially rare due to heightened quality control compared to earlier decades, and the combination of all these theories, off-metal strikes, mule pairings, extreme off-center impressions, double strikes, cracked dies, misaligned hubs, creates the mythic foundation for why this coin is believed by many to be worth an astounding $43 million, because even though the exact specimen remains wrapped in mystery, its tale continues to grow, feeding a worldwide fascination, and as collectors share the tale on forums, social media, conventions, auctions, and private discussions, the legend solidifies, becoming part of coin folklore, one of those unbelievable but captivating stories that everyone hopes might just be true, and that hope drives the ongoing search for new errors, new discoveries, new quarter varieties that might one day rival the mythical value of the 1984 D rarity. And as we reach deeper into this story, we recognize that the coin's value isn't just based on errors alone but also on the emotional impact rare coins have on collectors. Today we are exploring the astonishing tale of the 1992 P quarter dollar coin that collectors around the world whisper about, a coin rumored to have skyrocketed in value to a staggering $21 million because of a mysterious combination of rare errors, unusual striking anomalies, unexplained minting quirks, and fascinating possibilities that have made this coin one of the most sought-after modern rarities in numismatic history. And as we get into this deep and incredible journey, I want to welcome everyone and say thank you for tuning in, because today's story is going to pull you into a world where the tiniest details on a coin can create unimaginable fortune, where a single minting accident can change the destiny of a coin forever, and where the 1992 P quarter stands as one of the most intriguing cases of value born from imperfection. And as we look closely at this coin, we begin with the basic idea that the Philadelphia Mint in 1992 produced millions of quarters, yet among these millions, a tiny handful, perhaps only one or two according to the strongest rumors, escaped the mint with errors so profound that they created an entirely new category of fascination, and collectors have spent decades trying to pinpoint what exactly sets this coin apart, what exact combination of mistakes occurred, and why its value has soared so dramatically. And one leading theory is that the 1992 P quarter may have been struck using a transitional die designed originally for the wrong type of planchet, which is a rare but historic error seen in only a few coins in American history, and this particular scenario suggests that some planchets intended for earlier years or even for different denominations may have accidentally been fed into the presses, causing a mismatch that altered everything from the thickness to the metallic balance of the coin. And some collectors who claim to have examined photographic evidence note subtle shifts in luster and reflectivity that hint toward a planchet of incorrect composition, which then opens the door to the possibility that the coin may bear microscopic variations in weight that distinguish it from normal 1992 quarters, and these weight shifts, while almost invisible to the naked eye, are massively important in rare coin valuation because they serve as physical fingerprints of a minting error, and when such inconsistencies align with additional errors like strike doubling, incomplete strikes, rotated dies, or misaligned hubs, the value of the coin multiplies exponentially, especially when the error occurs during a year when the U.S. Mint was not known for major mistakes, making the anomaly even more astonishing. and many longtime numismatists suggest that one of the most significant features that might be present on the multi-million-dollar 1992 P quarter is a subtle but unmistakable double die obverse, where the inscriptions and elements on the front of the coin appear slightly shadowed, giving letters like IN. God we trust and liberty an almost ghost-like secondary outline, and this form of doubling, especially if caused by a hubbing misalignment, can elevate a coin's worth dramatically, particularly when paired with a mint mark anomaly, because the P mint mark on this coin is rumored to show slight misplacement, leaning perhaps a fraction of a millimeter off the standard position, which is enough to signal that the die itself may have been altered, replaced, or improperly seated during production, and these kinds of small misalignments create a chain reaction in the coin collecting world, where even the faintest deviations generate huge excitement and push values higher, especially when the deviation is exclusive to only a few surviving examples, and some experts argue that the coin may also have been struck with improperly annealed metal, meaning the planchet may not have been heated to the correct temperature before entering the press, causing unexpected hardness or softness that in turn leads to unusual strike pressure, resulting in sharp edges, irregular textures on the fields, and even granular surfaces that differ dramatically from the silky smooth finish seen on normal circulation coins from that year, and these surface differences, when analyzed under magnification, take on even more significance as they may reveal striations or swirl patterns that indicate the planchet was part of a misprocessed batch, and this type of metallurgical error combined with a die error amplifies rarity to incredible heights, helping explain why collectors believe the value of the 1992 P quarter could reach $21 million in a high-profile auction, especially if the world's leading grading companies authenticate the error combination as unique. And then there is the possibility of a dramatic and highly unusual off-center strike that slightly shifts Washinton's portrait or moves the rim lettering closer toward the edge, a near impossibility for modern minting technology unless a mechanical malfunction occurs at just the wrong moment, and what makes this even more compelling is that the 1992 production year was not known for such dramatic off-center errors, leading many to theorize that a single malfunctioning press may have accidentally produced one or two bizarre test strikes before the operators caught the mistake, meaning that if any escaped into circulation, they would be among the rarest quarter errors of the modern era. And to add an even deeper twist to the mystery, some collectors whisper about the existence of a partial brockage error on the coin, where part of the design from another coin may have been accidentally imprinted onto its surface due to a jammed coin or a press malfunction, and if such an imprint exists, even faintly, it would elevate the value massively because brockage errors combined with double dies or transitional planchets are virtually unheard of, making any example instantly priceless, and beyond the mechanical and metallurgical errors, another layer of intrigue surrounds the historical timing of the early 1990s at the U.S. Mint, a period when modernization, equipment replacement, and production adjustments were being phased in, and during such transitional periods, mistakes, though still rare, become more likely, meaning a hybrid or experimental die might have been tested, a planchet might have been misfed, or a die from a different year may have been mistakenly reinstalled, creating a hybrid quarter with characteristics from more than one die stage, and such a hybrid error is almost impossible to intentionally create or replicate, making it even more valuable to collectors who chase uniqueness, and some reports claim that the coin also exhibits a slightly rotated reverse, where the eagle appears tilted when the coin is flipped, a detail that may indicate the collar mechanism failed momentarily, and this alone can generate tremendous excitement, but when layered upon doubling composition irregularities, die misalignment, and potential off-center striking, it becomes clear why this coin has achieved legendary status and why its rumored value sits astonishingly at $21 million, and beyond the physical errors, there is the added mystique of unknown origins, since no official documentation exists confirming the exact error type, giving the coin an almost mythic aura, and collectors love mysteries, especially when those mysteries involve modern coins that theoretically should not contain such severe mistakes, and the rare combination of secrecy, speculation, microscopic irregularities, dramatic minting anomalies, and potential one-of-a-kind status pushes this coin into the realm of multi-million-dollar valuation, making it one of the most talked-about coins in modern numismatics and one that continues to inspire treasure hunters to search through jars, drawers, and old rolls with the dream of discovering a fortune hiding in a simple 1992 p. quarter. So if you enjoy these deep explorations of rare coins and incredible values, make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss another fascinating journey into the world where small coins can hold big secrets and sometimes even bigger rewards.